So back in our row menu, we have this is open here. What I should be doing back in this controller, which I don't think I am doing, is opening this. Okay. Let's close up some windows here. Let's go to row menu. Okay, now we're going to check if is open. Return. Okay, we'll add another div up here, and we'll add a class, and we let this row menu open. We'll use that later. Make it relative. Padding left equals 1. Make it block. Width flex. Yes, this all looks good. We'll give it an ID of row menu open, and we still want the drag handle, but we'll add another component underneath it, which we'll have to build. And like that. So that looks good. And let's build that component. And I'm just going to copy and paste it in, and we'll go through it to save some time. And also paste in this. Okay, we have a row context menu. First of all, we have a similar modal backstop like we did with the select dropdown. So this will, so that they can click off. Then we have some styling, and we have 2 menu items. This one is for deleting a row, and where's the text is delete, and this one is for duplicating a row. And then we'll just add a little bit of flair at the bottom here that you can change if you like, but just when it was edited and stuff, we're not, obviously this is hard coded, so we're not using that. And then each of these here, these row menus, they correspond with this, and it's just a simple div with an icon and a text, and we're using this to pass in the props for these, which will pass on to the div, and these will be the things like the HX post, the duplicate, which we haven't written yet, and the HX delete. So, but this should give us the menu. Let's see about that. There we go. Very nice. So the menu is working, and of course the route is not found, so let's build that right now quickly. Going back to our table controller, and there's a bunch of things we have to add here, so I think I'm just going to paste it in to save some time. So we added, I think, at least 4 here. We added a route when they when they give us a table ID and a row, this will allow us to delete it. A table ID, a row, menu, item. Well, I guess with this one we already did, didn't we? Yes, we did this one already. Delete. So this was for, oh yeah, this is to remove the, so when they click on the click off with either or click escape, this will just close the menu. So this is returning back false, so the menu will be closed. Here we have the duplicate. So let's go to our database and produce both of those. Where is it? Database index. And let me paste those in. So this is here, comma, enter. Sever delete, pretty simple. It's finding something and then slicing. And duplicate, it's doing kind of the same thing. It's finding the row, it adds a new, gets a new ID, and adds it to the rows. So that is not too bad. Hopefully you can read that and paste that in. So I think that is about it. Oops. So we'll refresh this and click on this. We delete. That delete works. Let's work out twice here. Work out twice. No. Who likes working out? No one likes working out. Let's delete that. Okay, we got that working. The last thing is we want the items to or the drag to only show when we're hovering here. So let's go back to our code, go to table row, and once again we will use hyperscript to do this. So inside here we'll paste in on mouse enter, we'll remove opacity from the drag menu in me, and on mouse leave we'll add it. And I think the other thing we have to do is go back to the menu and give it a default opacity of 0. So it starts off at 0. Let's see if that works. It does. And we click on this and we're good to go. Duplicate. So nice. Anything else? Now it's time for the row sorting. For the row sorting, I took inspiration from what am I doing? No, HTMX.org, I think. Going to examples, sort. So they have an example here of using sort, so I did something similar. They're using the sortable JavaScript library to do this. So we will also use that. So let's go to our base HTML and let's add some stuff. So I added the sortable for that library, and I also added this file because we're going to be writing some of our own scripts here to help along, and I think we'll have to create that here. So this is let's do that. We'll create our own JavaScript file, scripts.js, that looks good. And here is some styling that I wrote in line here, just for the dragging and so on. So let's do that. Okay, the next thing, inside our scripts, I'm going to dump some more code. I'll take you through it. So on load, we're going to go find the sortable class. Now, did I add that in anywhere? Or do I still have to add it? No, I still have to add it. So let's go to our table body, and on this right here, let's add a class equals sortable. And while we're here, we'll also add a data.table ID, and we'll make that equal to table ID. We'll need that in a bit. So it finds that div with the class sortable, and it loops through some stuff. And well, we could have more than one of them in. Right now, all we would ever have is one because we only have one table, but you could have multiple tables, and this is looping through each of the tables that have the sortable class onto it. It's getting that data.table.id that I just put in, and it instantiates that sortable library. And here's some configuration. We don't need this stuff. We can delete that, I guess. But on end, we do some stuff and we trigger an HTML action, HTMX action, to do the sort. And then after it, to be honest, I don't remember what this does, if anything. Sorry about that. I would have to think about that, what that does, but let's just keep going. So back to here, what do we got? So now we got stuff happening, but we do not have any network traffic happening when we're dropping. So changing eggs to the bottom does not stay there. Going back to our code, you also notice this function get all children IDs, and we'll go through that in a minute, but this is what we'll be using to get the IDs from each row, and so we can get their order, and then we'll be sending this to the server. So let's go back to our data table, which we haven't seen in a bit, but we're going to add some stuff here. Okay, what we're going to add here is a hidden field at the very bottom here to help us do the sorting. Actually, sorry, I just realized that this is older code. What we really want to do is something like this. Here. So at the end of the sort, we're going to find a certain hidden button, and we're going to click it, and that will be how we trigger the sort. And going back to our data table, here we are. This is the hidden thing that we're going to trigger, get the click on. So how is this working? So we have the ID, and this is the ID that we needed here. we have a post to table ID sort. It's going to, the target it's going to replace is RM data table ID, which I believe is on the table body. So it's going to replace the table body, and it's going to this get all children is the function that we put over here. So this will go and we'll pass in the parent ID, it will get all the children, and then it will push it to an array, and that array will have the order of the IDs that we need. And then here's the trigger for click. So let's try that and see if we get something triggered. There it is. So we got our sort. I couldn't find it because we haven't written it yet. Here's the payload of the items in order. So we'll use this array, and we will resort our items on the server. Alright, let's go back to our code. Let's go to table controller, and let's add the sort method. And I'll just paste it here on the bottom. Okay, so same type of thing. We're getting the body has the items in an array. We're going to call the database sort method, which we have to write. And yeah, I think this is failing because it doesn't know what this is. So let's go write this, and we'll go to our database. Let's go here, and we'll paste in this code to do that. So we're getting the ordered IDs. It's finding the table. If it doesn't find it, it raises an error. It sorts it. It sorts the rows that we have via the order IDs that we have right there, and then returns the table. And here we're returning all the table rows, and this will be what we inject into the table body. And let's see if this works. Buy milk, refresh, oops. Oh no, we are getting an error. Let's see if we can figure it out. Is it as simple as I didn't save something? Oh no, there's a problem. Let's figure it out. That makes sense. There we go. I really don't need this hello world anymore. Let's get rid of it. All right. Refresh. God, this is a long haul. If you're still listening, you know what? I appreciate it. Let's see. Refresh this. Let's drag buy milk on the bottom. Buy milk is on the bottom. Isn't that nice? Actually, now I'm checking my notes. What we will do first is the resize. So resizing things. Refresh. Resizing. So that when someone resizes the row, it saves it on the server and it saves it in the database. The first thing we need to do is go to our code. And we're going to go to the table header. Makes sense. Let's go through it so I can at least show you what we're doing here. There's quite a bit of changes that we have to make here. One thing, we're going from the columns here being kind of relative right next to each other to going to absolute columns. And that helps us when we do the dragging here. You can see we can use kind of position to kind of move things over and then move the other things. If it was all relative, it'd be very hard to do. So that's one of the major changes we have to make here. So, but we are changing our div here. So our internal div here. So we are adding a column ID. We're changing this, like as I said, to absolute. We still keep the flex. We're getting the cursor grab, so we get the grab handle. We get a still full. We're not letting them select it, so this is so they can't select the text with their mouse. Item center is still there. PX2 is still there. Text small is still there. And the font bold. I didn't have it bold before. Well, I guess not. Well, it'll now be bold. And then we do some hovering stuff here. So that's that. Column mouse down of handler, which we'll get to in a minute. We have a style, so this is, as the width changes or the position changes and the width changes, we have this will update. And some attributes here keeping track of the ID. So let's get rid of this. We need one of these. Alright, and we're not getting X, so did I not add X to the data type? It looks like I didn't. X is, so this is the positioning and the X position. This is a number. Let's go back to our database, and you'll notice we have an error because we don't have all the information we need here. So let's add an X. So the first one will be X0. The next one below that will be X100. So the 0 plus 100 will be X100. Below that, we do an X300. The 200 plus 100. And for the last one, we do an X400. And that should be okay. Let's go back to our thing. Let's see if it still is working. Great. What we need now is a drag handle. So going back to our table header, we're here. What we want to do is below here we're going to add a component called the expander, and what that looks like is this thing here, right? And we have to add that to here, column expander, ID, table ID, just like that. Oh, let's hope this works. Oh, look at that. Oh, but it's not doing anything because we didn't write the method yet, and we're probably getting errors. Yeah, expander mouse down is not written. So let's figure that out. Okay, so this is missing, and it's missing because we didn't add it to our scripts yet. So let's go here, and we would, instead of me typing it down, I will paste it in. And there's a lot of code here, unfortunately. But this handles both the expanding and the moving of the columns. So I'm going to just paste it in here, look at the source code for this and figure it out. But briefly, we have a lot of, I'm using Clojure here, so there's some internal functions. What we care about is a column move. We're listening to the mouse move here and handle mouse move. And we remove it when the mouse is up. Handle mouse move. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on. We're doing some stuff, and then we have column move. Well, this is moving columns. Oh, that's not what we want. Right, helps if I know my own code. I think what we should focus on right now is this expander mouse down, which if I go here, it's not even there yet. So sorry I led you astray. We'll be using this code later. Go like this. Okay. So this is the code I just pasted in. So it's giving a minimum for the width, so you can't make it smaller than 50. This is the function that that inside of the table header, inside of the expander handle that we're calling, we're passing in the column ID and the table ID. We're getting the where it currently is and a bunch of stuff. Mouse is moving. We're resizing the column, and this resize column not only resizes the header, but is that there yet? Well, actually this is not there yet. Sorry about this. There's a lot of code here, unfortunately. So I pasted in these two ones. The resize column is the one that we're looking at here. And long story short, this is responsible for resizing. So not only when this drags across here, it also goes through the DOM and finds all the rows that have a certain column ID in their data properties and resizes them. And so this is why, even though I'm resizing just the header, the rest of them fall into line, because we're looping through and then updating them. And then on mouse up, we're getting an item and we're clicking the, this is the same one. Is it the same one? No, this is different. I don't think we've added this yet. Have we? No, we haven't added this yet. So let's do that. All right. Okay, so going back to the table header, like I thought, we have to add in some IDs here. And is there anything else I'm missing? No, that looks okay. Let's try it again. Okay, and we got a target error. What is the target? Do we have a... Let's see if I put this anywhere. I don't think I did. No, we just have it on the target, I think. Let's let's go to our data table, and we have to add an ID here. All right, fresh. Okay, perfect. So this is probably confusing, but as they're dragging the expander thing, this is getting fired, and it gets the client ID here. We are, when the mouse is up, we attach a mouse up event here, and or no, on the mouse move, we are resizing the columns, and that's the stuff we're doing here. And then on mouse up, we do a click on this event, and we fire off the event to the server. And if we go back to data tables, this is the thing that's getting clicked, and it wants to do the column change here. So let's get this done and get it in. There it is. And let's also add this. That will be in the database, and we'll add that. So this takes in the ID and some information about the columns, and then it goes through and it just updates the columns with the new information. And data table, no. And let's see if that works. Column change, that should work. It's going back here. And we loop over. We do this, we refresh, and it works. This is getting called, and it's bringing back. So what's happening is when we resize this, we're actually re-rendering the whole entire table comes back. So that's why we could probably not do that. Maybe we can return nothing because the client is looking after it, but maybe it's nice to have the kind of cleanup. Okay, where are we now? I think actually now the changes we made there also work for the reordering of the columns, because the reordering of the columns is also using this hidden input and firing off and passing the column data, which is here. So this has kind of all the information about the ID and the width of things and the translation. And then on the server, when we're updating the columns, we're getting that information and we're updating the columns with it. Although I think, yeah, we're doing a little bit of mapping here. we're getting the column data back that we have here inside of columns, and then we're looping through it. We're finding the column that's inside our database, and we're updating the attributes on it, and then we're using that to pass in an update. Well, you made it to the end, or at the very least you put the scroll bar near the end to hear this message. Thank you so much. It was way longer than it should have been, but I appreciate you sticking with it. And yeah, if you liked it, please give it a like. And I hope to do more of these videos. Any recommendations of what you'd like to see? For example, we could try a different framework for the back end, or we could continue building out the Notion idea here, adding more components and more tables and so on. Thank you so much.